Hey Pinksters! Now today we will be discussing how to get the key from a dictionary by using its value. So most of you might be knowing how we can get a value using its key, but have you ever wondered how would you extract the key from its value? So that is exactly what we will be learning here. So let's have a look at an example. Now let's say that this right here on the screen is an employee dictionary, wherein you have the names of the employees as the key and their employee ID is the value. Now, how will you extract the name Bob from his employee ID 2020? Now, please note that 2020 right here is not the key, it's the value. And you have to extract the key corresponding to this value 2020. So this is what we are going to learn. Let's have a look at the different ways using which we can do this. So the first approach that we are going to use to solve this problem is to use the items method. Now, this items method will help you to fetch the key value pairs from the dictionary, and then we can iterate through each key value pair with the help of a for loop. So, in the first iteration, Python finds that the key is Sam and the value is 1010. Now, let's say that the given value for which we have to find the key is 2020. So, we are going to check is the value at this point of time equal to 2020, which is not the case in the first iteration. This is because in the first iteration, the value is 1010. So we move on to the next iteration and then we once again check is the value equal to 2020? And this time, yes, it is definitely equal to 2020. And in this case, we go ahead and extract the key corresponding to this value, which is Bob, and return it as an output. So let's have a look how we can implement this in our code. Now let's say that this is our employee dictionary. And as you can see that the key is the name of the employee, whereas the value is the employee ID associated to that employee. So according to what we learned, we now have to use the items method to extract the key value pairs individually. So let's go ahead and do that with the help of a for loop for key, comma, value in employee. And then we have to use the items method. So items. Okay. Now, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and find out if the items method is actually extracting the key value pairs individually or not. So let's check that. Let's use a print statement and then let's print the key and then let's put a space in between and then let's print the value. Okay. Now let's execute this piece of code. And there we go. As you can see that with the help of each iteration and the items method that we used here, we have successfully extracted the key and the value pair from the dictionary. Now it's time to use this and solve our problem. So what we are going to do is simply go ahead and use an if statement to check if the value is equal to 2020, then print the key. So this is what we exactly need. We need the key, which is Bob, corresponding to the value 2020. And that's how you can do this. So let's go ahead and execute this piece of code to check if this works or not. And there we go. So we have successfully extracted Bob, which was the purpose, using the value 2020. So this is how you can use the items method to extract a key using its value from a dictionary. With this, let us dive into the next approach, which will help us to solve this problem. So in the next approach, we are going to use three methods. The first is the keys method, which will help us to extract all the keys from the dictionary. Then the values method, which will help us to extract all the values from the dictionary. And then we will use the index method, which will help us to find the index of a particular value in this dictionary. So let's have a look at what we are going to do. So we will go ahead and separate the keys and the values and store them in two separate lists. So this is exactly what we are going to do. This is the first list which stores the values, and this is the second list which stores the keys. Now, each list will have equal number of elements since every key has a value associated to it. Hence, the number of elements in both the lists will be same. Now it is given that we have to find the key associated to this value 2020. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to move on to this list which stores the values, that is the employee IDs, and then find out the index which stores the value that has been given to us, which is 2020 in this case. And the index corresponding to 2020 in this case is 1. So this is exactly what we are going to find. And to find this index, we are going to take the help of this index method. So the index method will help us to find the index of a given value from this list. Now that we have found out the index of 2020, all we have to do is to go ahead and move on to our next list, which stores the keys, that is the names of the employees, and then we have to locate the value present or the element present at the first index of the second list, which stores the names. And this happens to be Bob, and then we simply go ahead and return Bob as the output. So let's have a recap. We are simply going ahead and separating the keys and the values and storing them in two different lists. Then we are finding the index of the given value, which is 2020 in this case, and the index happens to be 1. And then we are moving on to our second list, which stores the names of the employees, and we are finding the item corresponding to the index 1 from the second list and returning that as an output. So let's go ahead and implement this in our code. So this is the dictionary that has been given to us. Now let's go ahead and create a variable val. And within val, let's store all the values from this dictionary employee. So to do that, we are going to use the values method. So employee dot values. Now this is going to be a view object and we want to store it in the form of a list. So we are going to typecast this view object into a list, and there we go. Now we also need to store the keys from this dictionary. So let's go ahead and create another variable by the name key. And now let's go ahead and extract the keys from our dictionary employee. So employee dot keys. So the keys method will return a view object once again, and we need to typecast it. So let's do that. Okay, there we go. Now, before proceeding further, let us go ahead and use a couple of print statements, and let's print val and let's also print key. So let's find out what are these lists storing. The val list is storing values from the dictionary, while the key list is storing the keys from the dictionary. Okay. Now all we have to do is to find the index of 2020 from our list val. And to do that, we are going to use the index method. So let's say we have a variable v which will store this index. And we have to find the index from the list val. So val dot and then the index method. Now within this index method, you have to pass the value that you want to find. So the value that we want to find in this case is 2020. So that is exactly what we are going to pass here, 2020. Now we have the index of 2020 from this list val. Now we are going to use this index within the list key and find the value corresponding to this index. So all we have to do now is to print the value at the index v. So now let's go ahead and execute this piece of code and find out what happens. And there we go. We have successfully extracted the key Bob from this dictionary employee, and the value corresponding to Bob is 2020. And this is exactly what we wanted to extract. So this is how you can use the values, keys, and the index method to find out a key according to a given value. Now let's move on to another approach that will help us to perform this operation. So the third approach is a simple workaround wherein we are going to interchange the key value pairs. So let's have a look what I mean by that. So when we interchange the key value pairs, the keys become the value while the values become the key in another dictionary. So as you can see that 1010, 2020 and 3030 are values in the given dictionary, whereas when we interchange the key value pairs, then these values become the key in the second dictionary, whereas the keys Sam, Bob, and Rob become the values in the second dictionary. Now, all we have to do after getting the second dictionary is to find the value corresponding to 2020 from the second dictionary. And that happens to be Bob. And this is exactly the output that we need. Now, let us go ahead and further find out how this is going to work with the help of our code. So this right here is the given dictionary. Now, to perform our operation, we are going to use a dictionary comprehension. So let's say that the name of the second dictionary that we are going to create is res. Now, as I mentioned, that we are going to use a dictionary comprehension. So we are going to do that with the help of the dict keyword. Now, within dict, we need to reverse the key value pairs from the employee dictionary. So let's say that we have two variables, val, which will store the values, and key, which will store the keys. Now let's define the expression for this. For key, comma, val, in, and then we need to use our employee dictionary and extract all the items, that is the keys as well as the values from it. So we are going to use the items method. So let's understand what's happening in this case. We are extracting the key value pairs from this dictionary employee, and then we are storing the key from the employee dictionary as a value in the res dictionary, and the value from the employee dictionary as a key in the res dictionary. Well, to further visualize this, let's use couple of print statements and let's print the dictionary employee, and then let's also print the dictionary res. Okay, so let's execute this code. And there we go. The original dictionary has the name of the employee as the key and the employee ID as the value. Whereas the modified dictionary has the employee ID of the employee as the key and the name of the employee as the value. Now, all we have to do is to use this modified dictionary and extract the value Bob with the help of its key, which is 2020. So let's go ahead and use another print statement. And within it, let's use the res dictionary. And with the help of the square bracket notation, let us use the key 2020 to find out the value corresponding to it. Now let's execute this piece of code once again. And there we go. Bob is the key from the original dictionary that we wanted to extract. And that is exactly what this piece of code has helped us to do. So this is how you can interchange the key value pairs of the original dictionary to find the key from its value. Well, with that, we come to the final approach that will help us to perform this operation. So let's have a look how we can do this. Final approach is quite similar to the previous approach. The only difference in this approach is that we are going to use the zip method. So we are going to use the zip method, and within the zip method, we are going to extract the key and the values from the given dictionary, and then we are going to reverse them and club them together and store it in another dictionary. So this can be better understood with the help of the code. So let us dive into the code to understand how this is going to work. So once again, this is the given dictionary. And now we are going to create another dictionary by the name res. And this is going to be a dictionary. So we are going to use the keyword dict. And within this, we are going to extract the keys and the values from our dictionary employee. But we are going to extract them in an order such that we are first going to extract the values and then we are going to extract the keys. So let's extract the values, employee dot values, and now let's extract the keys, which is employee dot keys. Okay. Now we have to club the values and the keys within this dictionary res with the help of the zip method. So let's use zip, and then within zip, we are going to pass employee.values and employee.keys. Let's have a quick look at what the zip method does. The zip method takes an arbitrary number of iterables and aggregates them to a single iterable, which is a zip object. It combines the ith values of each iterable argument into a tuple. So this is exactly what we are doing in this case. We are extracting the value and its key, and then we are merging them to create a zip object. Let's have a look at what rest looks like. So let's print rest. So this is how rest looks now. And all we have to do is to extract Bob using 2020, which is the key in this case. So if you want this to be a one-liner, then you can go ahead and solve this question in a single line. All you have to do is to specify the key at this line of code itself. And the key is 2020, and we pass it within the square bracket notation. So rest now stores the key Bob, or you can simply go ahead and print this as an output if you want it to be a single line solution in the true sense. So let's do that. And now let's execute this piece of code to find out what happens. And there we go. We have the expected output, which is Bob. Well, with that, we come to the end of this lecture, and I hope this helped to solve your queries. If you have any doubts, please mention them in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer all your queries. Thank you.